Hello everyone, and welcome back for your second overview, online overview for English 1060, the 6 p.m. to 8:50. Going through this, guys, you've already had your overview video here for the overall, and by this time you will have already watched and gone through the Dropbox here for pre-writing that we talked about last class. This will have been past the video for 3:30, which you'll have already watched and gone through the content here. And now we're here for Tuesday, the 4th of April. We've already gone through and had this packet passed out to us in the class here. So you guys will have had this for the reading for this date and done your digital annotation, or depending on which you chose. If you want to do it in the packet, you're doing it, the annotation through the packet. Otherwise, you're doing it digitally and going through and writing your notes in a notebook. So you're reading it on screen and going through the annotations in a notebook. But the choice is yours, either on the article or in the notebook. You've already completed body paragraph 1 by now, where you've done the reasons people become refugees. And the homework for the 30th was to complete that portion of it. There's no submission this weekend. You won't have a submission until this date on the 4th, where you're going to watch the video that you're going through now, and then make sure that you've done these annotations, completed body 2 content, which will be the things that happen to people as a result of becoming refugees. So from 3 and 4 here, you'll have completed all the content for that pre-writing portion, and you're going to complete and submit that to the Dropbox by this evening, April 4th, by 11:30 p.m. Okay, so that'll be both of those. We'll look at it one more time in the Dropbox above in a second, but just remember that when we return to class, we're going to be going through at least touching on those things. We'll be talking about putting our work together for just in context of the pre-writing into the outline. So where it says book, article, and notes, this portion of the discussion, we're going to be primarily just referring to your own pre-writing and then talking about how that's going to play in with the rest of the reading we're doing. We're going to introduce an online article, Lost Boys. We're going to be talking about that one a little bit. We're not necessarily going to have a lot of time on that day, but we will at least do a little bit at the beginning. We touched base. We looked at the article last class, but we'll be going into that, and then we'll be in class. The main thing we want to do is discuss those things so that we can start putting together the first part of our outline, which is going to be taking those details from your pre-writing and now going through and finding the quotes and comments that we have from our reading journals and our annotations already, and look through those and see what things that we can find, or just other things that we thought of to use as support points. We'll be going through and putting those together here and synthesizing that as the outline portion for the body paragraphs. And then we'll talk about the intro and conclusion. Intro is going to be the main thing, but then we're going to talk about the review of this reading before we go, so that we know that we at least have some things we can refer to in there as we're working on completing these outlines. So you're going to have 2 parts to the homework this weekend. One is going to be to complete and submit the outline part 1, the body paragraphs. We will have discussed this in class, and we will have probably completed the vast majority, if not all of it, by then. And I'm going to have you guys submit what you've gotten completed by that night. It's not necessarily going to be that you have to have it all the way done, but it's going to be, we're going to do our best to get as close to finish as we can, so that we have enough to build our body paragraphs off of. And then over the weekend, what you're going to do is you're going to complete the intro and conclusion portion, and then combine that onto this other outline. That's the entire essay, at least for what your starting point will be. That will give us next week to kind of review those and start putting them into a draft that we can start editing and revising. We're probably going to do this in the stages again. We'll do the complete outline here, and then we'll be building bodies one, intro with body 1, then adding body 2, and then conclusion. Probably do it in at least 2 to 3 draft stages. All right. If you guys have any questions, as I said before, send me messaging up here. I won't be answering every day, but I will look at it a few times while I am gone to answer any questions. Anything else of major concern can wait till next week. We'll have a sit down and go over those things, and I have a couple of students in this class I'm going to be asking to come back for some office time, if possible, or at least the open office session, just to make sure we touch base on some things for the final part of the semester. All right, so remember that what you're looking at in terms of your Dropbox right now, the main thing is you're completing Essay 2, the pre-writing, the reasons people become refugees. You're writing your topic sentence here. Folks, don't forget to review the instructions before you start. Some students still clearly get into some of these things and don't actually go back over and remind themselves of what the instructions were before starting, and it just leads to issues as you're building components that don't get addressed until much later. So you're given a topic sentence here, then you're going to give in here 8 reasons. Remember to use the transitional elements. It started in the first 2 for you. And then down here on the 4th, this will be what you've completed by the evening of the 30th, or that's at least the homework, along with that annotation in the first portion of that packet. And then the second one here is technically assigned for April 4th of doing the things that happen to people as a result of becoming refugees. So you'll need to give a topic sentence that expresses this as the topic, and then give at least 12 sentences of things that happen to people that become refugees. And remember, by this time, you've already had the book that you've completed reading, the packet you're here now done with, the 2 sections of reading and annotating out of that Men and Boys in Displacement. And you will also have some discussion at some point of reference in the Lost Boys article. So just remember that all of those reference points are useful for you thinking about the things that happen to people who become refugees, right? And remember to use the transitions. One thing that can happen to people that become refugees is this, or another thing that happens to them is that, or can happen to them, right? And you can use your examples. Make sure you're thinking about the actual examples from the articles and the book, okay? Again, guys, if anyone has questions, make sure that you get in touch with me as soon as you can, and let me know. I didn't realize there were 2 of these open. Let me know, and I won't be going over these all the time, as I said in the comments here. In terms of contact back and forth, I won't be going over them all the time, but I will answer them. All right. Wish you guys all the best. Hope you have a good weekend. See you guys next Thursday.